speech, the right of press, the right to assembly. These are rights that we often take advantage of, and we don't have to second guess on a daily basis. Not only have these rights been whipped away from our people, but they are so far out of reach that they can't even think about the next minute, the next hour, the next day, because of the fear and trauma that's constantly being instilled in them and that they're currently enduring. Till this day, right now, innocent men, women, and children are dying. These are things that we take for granted because of where we live. So we have to scream, we have to shout, we have to use our privilege and our undeniable rights for good use to make people hear about this issue that they would not otherwise hear about. Maybe they don't have family, maybe they don't have any connection or ties to Palestine, but we need to let them know. We need to make this situation aware. This is not okay. These are innocent men, women, and children that are dying. We have to share on all media platforms because this is our right that's not being taken away from us. We have to share on all media platforms, #Resistance48. But that also means that we have a duty to use our privilege, our voice, our undeniable rights to get the people out of office that are not serving the people, our people. The same people that are using their privilege to turn a blind eye and kill innocent men, women, and children that have not even had the opportunity to exercise their basic human rights. This is a humanity issue. We will not stay silent anymore. They cannot silence us. We will use our voices. If they don't represent our people, we want them out.
Yeah.
We refuse to allow our people to go unheard of. If they don't have a voice, we will be their voice. They have just woken. I know each and every one of you guys are here for something, and they have just awoken something inside of us that will not be silenced anymore. Now everybody after me say, Palestine needs our help.
Palestine needs our help.
We will scream and we will shout.
We will scream and we will shout.
Palestine needs our help.
Palestine needs our help.
We will scream and we will shout.
We will scream and we will shout.
Palestine needs our help.
Palestine needs our help.
We will scream and we will shout.
We will scream and we will shout.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
And we can do something about it by getting HR 2590 passed. You guys know what to do. HR 2590. HR 2590.
Save, save Gaza now!
Save, save Gaza now!
Save, save Gaza now!
Save, save Gaza now!
Save, save Sheikh Jarrah!
Save, save Sheikh Jarrah!
Save, save Sheikh Jarrah!
Save, save Sheikh Jarrah!
Save, save Silwan now!
Save, save Silwa now!
Save, save Silwan now!
Save, save Silwa now!
Save, save Sheikh Jarrah!
Save, save Sheikh Jarrah!
Save, save Sheikh Jarrah!
Save, save Sheikh Jarrah!
Not another nickel! Not another dime!
Not another nickel! Not another dime!
No more money for Israel's crime!
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 Now free, free Palestine!
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 1, 2, 3, 4!
1, 2, 3, 4!
Occupation no more!
Occupation no more!
5, 6, 7, 8!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Israel is a racist state!
Israel is a racist state!
5, 6, 7, 8!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Israel is a terrorist state!
Israel is a terrorist state!
5, 6, 7, 8!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Israel is an apartheid state!
Israel is an apartheid state!
A free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Sharon Brown, back the bill!
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 Biden, Biden, 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 back the bill!
Robert Portman, 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 back the bill! U.S. Congress back the bill. H.R. 2590.
This didn't just start yesterday, this didn't start just last week. This has been going on for over 75 years. It's time to make a change. It's time to make a change. We have Zaina, she's going to talk about how her grandfather worked with the United States. She's going to tell the story of her grandfather. Zaina, would you like to come up?
In 1949, my grandfather, Yusuf Rida, was a school teacher. Seeing all the problems happening, he became a social worker in Palestine and applied to work for the United Nations Relief and Work Agency in 1957. After a year of working as a social worker, he applied for the District of Amman as a representative of the UN. My grandfather wanted to do more in Palestine and therefore was appointed the position of the District of Nablus and Hebron. My grandfather dealt with the 1948 and the 1967 refugees and dealt with housing, medical support, and education. He was focused on getting children housing, aid, and education mostly. He wanted to get children the education they needed and had special programs for children with outstanding GPAs to go to universities for free. My grandfather's dream was to get children educated and fight back Israel in a civil matter. He was one of the main reasons a lot of people started pushing back Israel's government. Around the 70s and 80s, Israel's government hired people to speak with my grandfather about the subject of refugees, housing, and money. They did not like my grandfather for fighting for the rights of Palestinians, and therefore the Israeli government spoke to the UN and pressured and forced the UN to retire my grandfather in his position. My grandfather had no choice but to retire in 1982. He kept fighting for his people even though he retired and died in 1991. Allah yarhamu.
The history of the injustice that has been put onto our people by Israel did not start yesterday. It didn't start last week. It didn't start last month. But the world is starting to see. The world is starting to see the injustice, and we won't be silent. Will we be silent?
No!
Will we be silent?
No!
We will not be silent. We will not be silent when children are dying. We will not be silent when racism is a thing in Israel. We will not be silent when there's an apartheid state. We will not be silent when there's terrorism. We will not be silent when there's bombing of homes. We will not be silent when there's people getting kicked out of their homes by settlers, forced out with guns, homes they lived in since their grandparents have been there. This will not go on any longer. The stories of Sheikh Jarrah will not be allowed. The stories of Silwan will not be allowed. The stories of all the 48 will not be allowed and will not be forgotten. Free, free Palestine!
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 1, 2, 3, 4!
1, 2, 3, 4!
Occupation no more!
Occupation no more!
5, 6, 7, 8!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Israel is a racist state!
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 It's not hidden, they're not hiding it. They are racist. It's not just towards Palestinians, it's not just towards Muslims. They are racist to Christians, they are racist to all types of people. They're even racist to their own kind. And we have, Farah, she's going to talk about how people are oppressed in Israel that aren't even Palestinian. There are Jewish people oppressed in Palestine, in Israel.
How many of you know the story of Ethiopian Jews and fully know the story? Well, I'm here today to tell you the story, and it all began in the 1980s when Ethiopia was going through a large crisis and Jews were seeking help from Israel. So Israel promised a home to every single Jew in the world in their state. However, this wasn't the case. They promised the home to only certain Ethiopians, and they separated families apart. They separated mothers from their children. They separated fathers from how Muslim and Arab problems is human rights being violated over and over again by Israel, and they are not being held accountable for their actions. It is important for everyone to recognize the role of this. The money we spend on Israeli products gives the Israeli government the power to harm innocent Palestinian civilians. If our government won't take the necessary actions in order to protect Palestinians, it is our duty to try and prevent them from harming them even more. That means reaching out to local Palestinian businesses and supporting them in every way, whether you want to help them start the business or purchasing their goods. We can also reach out to companies that support Israel or carry Israeli products and explain to them why they shouldn't, because them themselves are helping and harming those children. Over 70 children were killed in Gaza just this month, and we need to stop supporting all these businesses that fund them. And that's why it's important for our senators to support H.R. 2590.
As you can see, the injustice that Israel commits is not just towards the Palestinian people. It's not just towards Muslim people. It's not just towards Christian people. It's even to their own people. They don't even accept Jewish people in their country based on what color they are. If you don't look like us, you're not accepted. That's what Israel says. That's Israel's motto. We will not accept a racist state. The people of Palestine lived there with Muslims, Christians, and Jewish people for a very long time, very happily, very peacefully, until they wanted to come in and make a Zionist state only for Jewish people. It will not stand. We need accountability for Israel's actions. When they break the law, they need to be held accountable. I just found out the other day when the UN has put all these human rights that are laws around the world. Do you know who enforces these laws? The country itself. So Israel, the people who are committing the human rights violations, are expected to hold their people accountable for committing human rights violations. Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? How are we going to expect change? How are we going to expect change if the United States keeps funding them when this is the kind of system that they have in place? They've expressed many times that they hate Palestinians. They regard to them as rocks, less than trees. They'd rather cut down a Palestinian person than they would cut down a tree. This is the people we're dealing. This is the people we're dealing with. They are racist. They are racist. They are racist. They are terrorists. They are terrorists. And there is an apartheid. If you haven't already, look up South Africa apartheid. It is the closest thing you can find to what is going on in Palestine today. South Africa apartheid. Look it up and look up the similarities to what is going on in Palestine. In South Africa, British colonizers went down to South Africa, took the land, and they wanted to consider themselves more important than the people that were native to the land. And they had more rights than the people native to the land because they were Christian. That was the story of Nelson Mandela. That was the fight he was fighting. And now it's happening again in Palestine. Except they're making the narrative that it's only Jewish state. But it wasn't their land to take. It wasn't Israel's land to take. Palestine was inhabited. The whole thought of Zionism is based on a land for a people, for a land without a people, for a people without a land. But there was people on the land, and they took our land, and they kicked us out of our homes, and it will not stand. So as what I was saying, BDS, boycott, divest, sanction, it works. It worked on Jim Crow in the United States. BDS worked on the South African apartheid, and it will work on Israel's crimes against Palestine. BDS, look it up. BDS.
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 Boycott.
Boycott.
Divest.
Divest.
Sanction.
Sanction.
Boycott.
Boycott.
Divest.
Divest.
Sanction.
Sanction.
Boycott.
Boycott.
Divest.
Divest.
Sanction.
Sanction.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
End the occupation now.
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 Okay, together at the street, and we're going to do our chants by the street so everybody has a fight here. So we're going to lead it first. All right?
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine!
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Long live 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 the Intifada.
Long live the Intifada.
Long live the Intifada.
Long live the Intifada.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Long live 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 the Intifada.
Long live the Intifada.
Long live the Intifada.
Long live the Intifada.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
HR.
HR
2590.
2590.
HR
HR
HR 2590. Biden, back the bill. Sherrod Brown, back the bill. Robert Portman, back the bill. U.S. Congress, back the bill. HR 2590. HR 2590. HR 2590. Biden, back the bill. Sherrod Brown, back the bill. Robert Portman, back the bill. U.S. Congress, back the bill. HR 2590. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Long live Palestine. Long live Palestine. Long live the Intifada. Long live the Intifada. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Long live Palestine. Long live Palestine. Long live the Intifada. Long live the Intifada. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Long live Palestine. Long live Palestine. Long live the Intifada. Long live the Intifada. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. Free Palestine.
occupation now!
End the occupation now!
End the occupation now!
Not another nickel, not another dime!
Not another nickel, not another dime!
No more money for Israel's crime!
No more money for Israel's crime!
Not another nickel, not another dime!
Not another nickel, not another dime!
No more money for Israel's crime!
No more money for Israel's crime!
Can anyone think of something better to do with $80 billion in America?
Yes, yes, I can!
Healthcare, for sure, right? Yeah. Listen, this is not something that we can stop talking about. We need to talk about this every day. Every day that we have a chance to be alive, we need to talk, we need to share, we need to communicate, and we need to keep standing by our brothers and sisters in Palestine. You know, people live in harmony. It's the Zionist state that is creating chaos. It's the Zionist state that is causing grief. There is no need for another child to die at the hand of Israel. Keep shouting every day, free, free Palestine!
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 Biden, Biden, hear our voice!
Biden, Biden, hear our voice!
Biden, Biden, make a choice!
Biden, Biden, make a choice!
Human rights, you hear our voice!
Human rights, you hear our voice!
Biden, Biden, make a choice!
Biden, Biden, make a choice!
Human rights, you hear our voice!
Human rights, you hear our voice!
Biden, Biden, make a choice!
Biden, Biden, make a choice!
Human rights, you hear our voice!
Human rights, you hear our voice!
Sharon Brown, make a choice!
Sharon Brown, make a choice!
Human rights, you hear our voice!
Human rights, you hear our voice!
Sharon Brown, hear our voice!
Sharon Brown, hear our voice!
Sharon Brown, make a choice!
Sharon Brown, make a choice!
Human rights, you hear our voice!
Human rights, you hear our voice!
Sharon Brown, make a choice!
Sharon Brown, make a choice!
Human rights, you hear our voice!
Human rights, you hear our voice!
What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
What Palestine!
25!
9-0!
90!
HR!
25!
25!
90!
90! Biden, back the bill!
Biden, back the bill!
Biden, back the bill!
Biden, back the bill!
Shannon Brown, back the bill!
Sherrod Brown, back the bill!
Shannon Brown, back the bill!
Sherrod Brown, back the bill!
Robert Portman, 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 back the bill!
U.S. Congress, 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 back the bill!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Long live 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 the Intifada!
Long live the Intifada!
Long live the Intifada!
Long live the Intifada!
HR!
HR!
25!
25!
90!
90!
HR!
HR!
25!
25!
90!
90!
HR!
HR!
25!
25!
90!
90!
Biden, back the bill!
Biden, back the bill!
Biden, back the bill!
Biden, back the bill!
Sharon Brown, back the bill!
Sherrod Brown, back the bill!
Shannon Brown, back the bill!
Sherrod Brown, back the bill!
Robert Portman, 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 back the bill!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Long live 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 the Intifada!
Long live the Intifada!
Long live the Intifada!
Long live the Intifada!
End the siege on Gaza now!
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 Save Shishara!
Save Shishara!
Save Shishara!
Save Shishara!
Save Silwan!
Save Silwan!
The people united will never be defeated!
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 People, can't you see?
People, can't you see?
We are not the enemy!
We are not the enemy!
Israel stole their homes!
Israel stole their homes!
Now they have nowhere to go!
Now they have nowhere to go!
People, understand!
People, understand!
They're killing innocents on demand!
Israel's a apartheid state!
They kill our people and celebrate!
People, listen here!
Palestinians are living in fear!
Israel, you can try!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine, ya Biladi!
One day we will see you free! People, can't you see?
We are not the enemy!
We are not the enemy!
Israel stole their homes!
Israel stole their homes!
Now they have nowhere to go!
Now they have nowhere to go!
People, understand!
People, understand!
They're killing innocents on demand!
They're killing innocents on demand!
Israel is an apartheid state!
Israel is an apartheid state!
They kill our people and celebrate!
They kill our people and celebrate!
People, listen here!
People, listen here!
Palestinians are living in fear!
Palestinians
We'll be free.
We'll be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Sin when we'll be free.
Sin when we'll be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Sin when we'll be free.
Sin when we'll be free.
End the occupation now.
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 بالروح بالدم نفديك يا فلسطين.
بالروح بالدم نفديك يا فلسطين.
بالروح بالدم نفديك يا أقصى.
بالروح بالدم نفديك يا أقصى.
Free, free Palestine.
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 Not another nickel. Not another dime.
Not another nickel. Not another dime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
Not another nickel. Not another dime.
Not another nickel. Not another dime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
Biden, Biden, back the bill.
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 Robert Portman, 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 back the bill.
Sharon Brown, 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 back the bill.
HR.
HR
2590.
2590.
HR.
HR
2590. What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Free, free Palestine.
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 Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
Long live Palestine.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Occupation no more.
Occupation no more.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Israel is a terrorist state.
Israel is a terrorist state.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Occupation no more.
Occupation no more.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Israel is a apartheid state.
Israel is a apartheid state.
Not another nickel. Not another dime.
Not another nickel. Not another dime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
Not another nickel. Not another dime.
Not another nickel. Not another dime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Gaza.
Free, free Gaza.
Free, free Gaza.
Free, free Gaza.
Free, free Sheikh Jarrah.
Free, free Sheikh Jarrah.
Free, free Sheikh Jarrah.
Free, free Sheikh Jarrah.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
End the occupation now.
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 What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
Biden, Biden, back the bill.
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 Robert Portman, 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 back the bill.
Sharon Brown, back Israel is an apartheid state.
Israel is an apartheid state.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Occupation no more.
Occupation no more.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Israel is a terrorist state.
Israel is a terrorist state.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Occupation no more.
Occupation no more.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Israel is a racist state.
Israel is a racist state.
Biden, Biden, back the bill.
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 Sherrod Brown, 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 back the bill.
Robert Portman, 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 back the bill.
HR.
HR.
25.
25.
90.
90.
HR.
HR.
25.
25.
90.
90.
End the occupation now.
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 Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Aqsa, Aqsa, don't you cry.
Aqsa, Aqsa, don't you cry.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Aqsa, Aqsa, don't you cry.
Aqsa, Aqsa, don't you cry.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Not another nickel, not another dime.
Not another nickel, not another dime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
Not another nickel, not another dime.
Not another nickel, not another dime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
Not another nickel, not another dime.
Not another nickel, not another dime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
No more money for Israel's crime.
The people united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated.
ahead and just clip this up on underneath of that for me.
Onto here or my shirt?
If you can clip it up underneath of this. Yep. Just hold that out for me.
Do you want me to look at you too, or like at the camera?
I'll have you look at me.
Okay.
Let me get your first and last name spelled both.
My name's Omar Radwan, Omarradwan. Can you say that one more time? We came out here to demand support for the bill HR 2590. It's the Palestinian Children and Families Act. It's basically a bill that will stop some of the fun facts. $150 billion in tax dollars that has gone from the United States to Israel since World War II. It essentially will make it so that the tax dollars that Israel takes from us from now on in aid, it can't be used to harm children, destroy homes, or take any more land. So we want some basic human rights.
How about the turnout?
Say that one more time?
How about the turnout today?
It was a good turnout. We had a bunch of young people, a bunch of loud people, and they wanted to come and support. Not all Palestinian, not all Muslim, not all Christian. We actually had a nice Jewish Palestinian lady, and she said she stands with all Palestinians. That is the kind of camaraderie and support that we all have. We don't have any problems with any type of religion, any type of people that come from any type of place. We love all people. We actually lived in Palestine with Christians, with Jewish people, with Muslims. It was all together. The whole problem was creating the Zionist state where they didn't want to have any Muslims or Christians. But still, to this day, they're still segregating not only against Palestinians, not only against Muslims and Christians, they are also segregating against their own Jewish people. They're segregating against black Jewish people from Ethiopia and Africa that came in as refugees. The whole purpose of Israel as a whole was to be a refugee place for all Jewish people to go and live. And they're not accepting the black ones. What kind of a thing is the United States backing? That's racist. That is racist. It's an apartheid state. We are not kidding when we say it's an apartheid state. If you look into what happened in South Africa, it's very concerningly similar. There's not many differences in what happened in South Africa and what is happening in Palestine. British colonizers went down to South Africa, they took it for themselves, and then they said that people who are Christian are superior to people that are indigenous to the land. That's not how it works. The same thing that's happening in Palestine. The European Jews back in the 1900s, after World War I, started settling in Palestine. As refugees, we took them in. We accepted them because that's how we are. We are accepting people, and we help people in need. We never wanted this. But they wanted to go in, take our homes, and kick us out. And now they're using all the land that they took from us. And they're even segregating against their own people, just because they look different. So that's not what the United States should be backing. They should boycott, they should divest, they shouldn't sanction. It works. It worked against when Jim Crow was a thing, when Jim Crow laws were happening, when South Africa was an apartheid state, they did BDS, boycott, divest, sanction. You stop buying their products, they don't have the means to do these crimes. We don't want any more crimes, and we want accountability. We want accountability for the crimes that Israel has committed in the eyes of the entire world. The entire world can see that they've committed crimes. It's international law and they violated it. International law has been violated and there's no one holding them accountable. It's time to take action. It's time to make a change. It's time to back the Palestinians. Can you make sure that it all goes? What channel are we with? Channel 3? I don't know which channels. Some channels notoriously cut interviews. I think Channel 8's one of them, but they interviewed me. I hope this one makes it, because... Yeah. Yeah. appreciate you so much. Nice to meet you, Sean. I'm home. Hey, I know you have to keep a objective opinion because you're working in the press and even the police. But please do some research, look into it, because the people of Palestine deserve a little bit better than what they're experiencing. I promise you. My God, I appreciate you.
No Not another dime! Not another nickel!